The Israelis call it Sharav, the Arabs Hamsin. But whichever name you prefer, it was the same oppressive sand-laden desert wind which brought peace of a kind to the Golan. The stinging, dust-filled air hid the opposing Israeli and Syrian positions in the salient bulging into Syria, which the Israelis have held since the Yom Kippur War, and made fighting impossible. It's this 250 square mile slice of Syria's fertile plain which is being held as ransom against President Assad's good behavior and his return of Israeli troops captured in the war of Yom Kippur. The new territories, as they're called by the Israelis to distinguish them from the Golan Heights seized from the Syrians 7 years ago, are protected by tanks and heavy artillery. The armor is mostly dug in around the wreckage of deserted Syrian villages. Following the Syrian example, the Israelis have brought in batteries of surface-to-air guided missiles, which we weren't allowed to film. Israel's continued presence in the salient depends on keeping air superiority and on holding Mount Hermon. The Israelis accept that there will have to be a withdrawal eventually from this ground, which is militarily almost indefensible. But it's doubtful whether any argument will persuade them to climb down from the peaks of Mount Hermon. Early in the afternoon, the weather began to clear, and the Syrian guns once again began ranging onto Israeli outposts. But this was little more than harassing fire, and while the Israelis control the high ground, it's unlikely that the Syrians will attempt another set-piece battle. The next major moves will be political, and Israeli soldier citizens are well aware of how much depends on the outcome of Dr. Kissinger's talks with Mr. Gromyko in Geneva.